Well, Lisa, first of all, thank you so much for joining us on the Empowerment Series. As you know, I'm a big fan. And so, first of all, thank you for being here and for making time. And what I want to do is just describe you the way we know each other. And actually, this is for all of our viewers out there, I think this is the importance and power of networking is
Yeah.
that we have a mutual friend, Susie Welch. I think you guys went to Harvard together or whatever.
Yes, but we didn't know each other.
Oh,
I can't even remember how she and I got connected, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
yeah, right,
Going.
right. And Susie said, "Hey, I'm gonna be meet with Lisa," and and I'm like, "I know Lisa. She's gonna be like the new." CEO and publisher of the Inquirer. And she said, "Do you want to come over?" I was like, "I would love that." So I actually came and we had a really fun meeting. I think we were talking about Susie's business, but it was just a
Yes.
really wonderful way um, to get to know you up front. So it was kind of awesome. And just for anybody who doesn't know, Lisa is a superstar. I would say an expert on the national stage. Everything from, as Susie said, you were, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the New Yorker, you did something to transform the New Yorker. I don't know if it was events or whatever you did, the strategic move you did was phenomenal. And then, Condé Nast, House and Garden. I mean, you have and so those of us who live in the Philadelphia region are very, very lucky because we all see the amazing transformation you've made at the Inquirer as CEO and president. I'm a huge and publisher. I am a big fan of what you do, and I love the way you lead. And so I hope you don't mind that sort of unorthodox introduction of you, but that's what I think about you. So
Thank you. Well, it takes a village, as you know, but thank you for that.
you're welcome. Lisa, talk to us about we'd all love to hear when was that moment when you needed to bet on yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I love this question because it really makes you be honest with yourself about, okay, like, how do I answer that? And if I'm honest, it was really taking this job as the publisher and CEO of the Inquirer, which was the moment that I had to, really take a deep breath and bet on myself. I recently had the pleasure of going to a live taping of the Stephen Colbert Show, and he was interviewing the great actor Wendell Pierce, who, everybody knows he's been on everything from The Wire to Suits to Jack
Right,
Ryan, 40
right.
plus year career, veteran actor,
Mhm.
and he's about to play Othello. And Colbert asked him, "Well, what's that like? Is that daunting?" And he said, "Yeah, even at my age, I have a real fear, and I have real fear about playing this part, but I also have courage." And
Mm,
that really
I love
landed with
that.
me. I
Mm,
loved it because I thought, yes, that's exactly right. And I think to answer this question honestly, we all still, even after 40 plus years of working, have real fear.
of course.
And it's usually about your own ability and your own ability to do something. And but you do have the experience to lean into your courage and say, okay, I'm going to bet on myself.
And,
Um,
and Lisa, do you think that that was, how people talk about the imposter syndrome,
yes,
like, oh,
yes.
can I do this? You think it was? Or do you
Well,
think it was just
sure.
like, no, I could do it, but, there's risk because the Inquirer at that point was not in good shape, right? And
Well,
so,
I think
yeah.
it was a couple things. So, they asked me, I was on the board, and the publisher unexpectedly decided to retire. And the head of the board turned to me and said, "Lisa, you should take this job." And the vice chair said to me, "Lisa, you should take this job." And of course, I said, "No, I can't take this job. I'm a magazine publisher. I'm Glossy Magazines, Vanity Fair, Condé Nast Traveler. Yes, I'd been at the New Yorker for the past decade, more journalistic, but I thought I don't have the exact right experience. So no, I can't do this."
Mm,
And my board chair, Josh Koppelman.
Sure. Awesome.
um,
Yeah.
said to me, Lisa, it didn't take a book publisher to reinvent the book business. And Lisa Kabnick sat me down. She was our vice chair at the time,
Mhm.
now our chair.
Another
And she
great
sat me
person.
down, and I'll never forget this because she said, don't say no so fast. Just think about it. Just sit with it. Think about it. You're saying no too fast. And that sat with me. And I realized, okay, let's not focus on what you don't know how to do in this job. Let's focus on what you do know how to do. And what I did know how to do was digital transformation, content company, legacy content company, how to think about reinventing the business to so it would have long-term sustainability. Um, and so again, when I thought about it, I decided, okay, I got to lean into my courage. I got to have some courage here. My board believes I can do this. Why is it that I don't believe that I can?
You
So,
know, it's interesting. It's interesting because you talk about leaning in.
yeah.
It's the reflex reaction, right, is to step back and say
Yeah,
no. So the fact that you were able to do that, and talk about, and so thank you, Josh and Lisa, for your persistence, because lucky us. But the question is, talk about that, about the support, because we all need it in leadership positions. Everybody needs it, even if you're not yet in that leadership position. Like,
yeah.
what does that mean to you?
Well, I think part of it is thinking about instead of making the list of what you don't know how to do, which a lot of us do, and thus the imposter syndrome. Oh, I can't possibly do this. Make the list of what you do know how to do. And in my case, because I was on the board and they knew me, it was easy for me to have the conversation with myself, the internal conversation saying, wait, they know what I don't know. They know
Right.
I'm not faking it till I make it. I don't have
Yeah.
to fake it at all. They actually know what I know and what I don't know how to do. And what they are interested in is a person who knows how to untangle really thorny knots, who knows how to lead, who knows how to make complex decisions. And it goes to the second part of your question, which is how did, betting on yourself and then empowering others. What I realized is at this stage of my career, it's okay to say, I don't know how to do this. It's
Mm,
okay to say, this
I
is
love
way
that.
out of my depth. I don't even know the right questions to ask. I need to surround myself with people who do know. And I need to ask them, what question did I not ask that I should have? What else do I need to know here so I can make a decision? And you really have to empower people around you, people you trust, people who know way more than you do, subject matter experts to help advise you so that you can make a decision rather, so that you can make a decision when you have a lot of ambiguity. And that is leading, and that is being the publisher or CEO and empowering the people around you to advise you. So
I
I think
love
it actually made me a better boss. I wasn't in the weeds. I couldn't be in the weeds. I didn't know how to weed.
that. I love that. And I think another piece to that, all fabulous thoughts, but I think also the fact that you lead and say, hey, I may not know about this, because there will be some people who are watching who will get a job where maybe they are like, well, I don't, they haven't seen me perform. Will I
Yes.
fail? And I
Yeah.
think your point about admitting your vulnerabilities, being strong, it's that, what do they call, the strong versus soft power?
Yeah.
That's the strength of admitting something that, is not. So I love that. I think that's real
Yeah, and I
leadership.
think, earlier in my career, when you're a young leader, you do think I have to have all the answers or else they're going to doubt that I legitimately should be here. And I think that's wrong. I actually don't buy into fake it till you make it because why should you have to fake it? There's a difference between not knowing it and not knowing something deeply. Let me start again. There's a difference between not understanding something deeply because you don't have that subject matter expertise and being stupid, right?
Right.
And so you need to be able to surround yourself with people and you need to be able to say, look, I haven't run a product design and engineering department before. Let me lean into board members, in which case I did to help interview the top position in that in that to run that department. I can assess certain skills, but I can't really look under the hood and assess the deep technical skills. So I need some help doing that. That's not saying you're weak. That's
Right.
saying pull up a chair. I need some help.
Yes, and
I'm a
I
big
love
fan.
that.
Pull up the chair and I need some help.
And it's interesting because there's that fine line, and I actually struggle with it. I love to be self-deprecating, and I know that there's a line to that. So if I don't know something, I have to stop myself because you still need to be confident as a leader,
Right.
right? And so,
Right.
which is what you're saying. So I love all of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going back to what we were talking about earlier about asking questions, being and really listening
Mm,
and using your network to help you surround yourself with the right people or ask the right questions.
love it. That is a perfect way to say thank you so much for this fabulous talk. You are the best.
Thank you. This
Really,
was
really
a pleasure.
appreciate it.